Hi, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Journeys with Joe. I'm Joe, and I'm looking forward to sharing my experience with you that I had recently. I went out to the Cape Cod National Seashore, which is out in far eastern Massachusetts, about an hour and a half from where I live, all the way down on Cape Cod in what's called the Outer Cape. I visited several beaches out there because I had never been out there before and I wanted to experience this very important national park. And I also wanted to treat it as kind of like a personal retreat. Along the way, I got to see some amazing things, and I also had some wonderful thoughts that I was journaling throughout my entire trip. And I'd like to share some of those thoughts with you because I think that they may be helpful to you in your own journey. So I look forward to telling you a little bit more about what I felt, what I experienced, and telling you about how it may be able to help your life. The first photo you're seeing here is Nauset Lighthouse in Eastham, Massachusetts. This tended to be my home base for the day, and I was starting out here and walking around the beach from this particular location. It's an absolutely gorgeous overlook, and the beaches in both directions are wonderful, very easy to walk on, and very pretty. The first thought that I'd like to share in my experiences is the idea that things in our lives tend to happen gradually and then suddenly. And this happens in both good and bad ways. One thing that you notice if you walk along the beach is that cliffs are eroding. You'll see pebbles of dirt and stones kind of coming down off the cliffs slowly. But this has been happening over a period of many years. And there are warnings all over the place not to get too close to the fences and not to walk in certain areas so you don't trigger a slide or a collapse. And this is very much like our own lives. It's very important that we take care of ourselves and of our relationships because if we don't, then all the little things that we do to those things over time will eventually build up and cause a collapse. Another important lesson from walking on the beach is that tides come in and out just like in our lives. Sometimes the tide is in and we have a lot of things going on, and other times the tide is out. And what happens is when the tide is out, that tends to uncover a lot of problems, a lot of infrastructural issues that we should be able to fix. And what we want to be able to do in our own lives is to make sure that we don't have a lot of underbrush and debris and detritus. We need to take care of that so when the tide does come in, we're not overwhelmed and that we don't have a hard time handling things because we have so much that's lurking under the surface that we don't know about. One thing I'd like to share with you is the fact that over the course of this year, my belief in God has become a lot stronger. And one thing that I realized when I was looking out over the ocean appears to be endless, it's vast, it's wide, it's long, and it seems like it would just go on forever. And what I thought about when I was looking out over the ocean is that this is similar to God's love and also God's capacity to handle things that are going on in our lives. If we find ourselves overwhelmed, if we feel like we can't handle things, then we can trust in God and we can put those burdens as much as possible on Him, and He will be able to give us the peace that we need in order to move forward in our lives. One of the things that I thought about a lot during my personal retreat is why I believe what I believe. I believe very strongly in God, but I also have a very strong belief in evidence. I think that evidence is more important than models and theories. And what I look for in the world as a very logical person is evidence that something will work or that it won't work. But there are sometimes things that we just can't explain that I feel like are beyond the realm of science. We try to figure out as much as possible. There are things that people call miracles, and we don't really understand why they work. And so for me, that's where faith comes in. That's where we find the things that I can't seem to explain in any other way. Well, folks, there you have it. That is my trip down to the Cape Cod National Seashore. I've tried to do it justice through photos and video and spoken word, but I don't think I really can. You really have to experience something like this for yourself. Go out there and enjoy nature, see something beautiful that you haven't seen before, allow yourself to have those thoughts that you wouldn't normally have during the workday, and journal and think about things that you normally wouldn't think about because they may help to bring clarity in certain areas to your life. It certainly did for me, and I hope that it would for you as well.